Hey guys, Madison here, about to watch Season 1, Episode 3 of Loki, and I'm so excited. It's Wednesday. You know what they say, Wednesdays are the new Fridays. And today is a big TV day for me because I've got this episode of Loki, and I am also, most of you probably don't know this, I am also an avid watcher of The Blacklist, which is having its season finale today. So, not the series finale, they've confirmed that there will be a next season. I'm a little upset about a particular cast member who's leaving, and I'm kind of nervous to see how they wrap that story up. But I'm not here to talk about The Blacklist. I am here to talk about Loki. So, before I jump in here and watch this week's episode, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's episode. And be warned, I know there's at least one comment that discusses the potential identity of the mysterious lady who appeared in the grocery store, so if you don't want to hear theories about that or any discussion because it could be a spoiler, you might want to just skip the discussion and go straight to the reaction. Just a warning. So let's start with Kemma, who says, I think this is the best of the Marvel shows yet, Loki forever. Agreed, it's already my favorite of the Marvel shows so far. Just my opinion. People are free to have their own opinions. We don't judge people's opinions here. Dim Bones says, what I think is that Loki isn't the only major magic-using Asgardian villain who favors greed and gold in the comics. Exactly, and I'm going to get to more of that in just a minute. Nick Kelly says, if you have been to Dragon Con, that main hall in the TVA should look familiar. They filmed it in the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta. The TVA is a hard concept to get, and it does seem evil at first glance. The TVA exists outside the universe at the end of time. The Timekeepers were created by He Who Remains, the last living being in the Marvel Universe at the death of the universe. The Timekeepers were created to keep the timeline that just finished to happen again in the next universe, and so on and so on. That is the mythology in the comics. In the comics, the TVA is to keep temporal abnormalities to a minimum. They are rivals to Kang the Conqueror and the Kang Dynasty and some other groups fighting over time in the Omniverse. It looks like something is going on at the TVA, and this may be a way to not only start the MCU multiverse, but also set up Kang going into Ant-Man 3. At least now when the MCU wants to change a story or offer an explanation, they can say because the Timekeepers said so. Well, first of all, I have not been to Dragon Con yet. I would very much like to go to Dragon Con one day because it's fairly close to me, and I've heard it's a great con. But yes, I am aware that they filmed a lot of this series in Atlanta. I feel like that might have been part of the reason why they went to Alabama last week, which still blows my mind. Alabama never gets to be in anything. We're just kind of the state that everyone ignores a lot of the time, and it's like, why do you always go to New York and Washington, D.C.? What about us? But I feel like that's probably part of the reason is that they were filming near here. So they'll probably go to Georgia at some point. I would not be surprised there. They seem to be choosing small, obscure locations, like some random town in Wisconsin. What was it at the beginning of last week? And they went to Salina, Oklahoma. They're going to very out of the way places, which I find interesting. One thing I've wondered is why is, if this is Lady Loki, whoever it is, why is she going to these small obscure places? Is it because she thinks she can hide better there? Because there's that, and then they're well, she's hiding in apocalypses, so I don't know. Because to me it was she's going to really small towns, out of the way, where she can go more unnoticed, and and people won't ask as many questions, and it won't be as high profile, but then it's apocalypses, so I don't know. There's a lot happening. With regard to the TVA, I have heard about Kang. I'm not an expert on Kang by any means, but I have heard that he's probably coming into this phase of the MCU. I don't know which movie. Could be any of them, honestly. There could be hints of him in each movie, and then they build up to another big Avengers event where they all have to join forces to stop Kang, which I think is the most likely. Because that's kind of what they did with Thanos, seeding things along the way, and then boom, the big team up movie happens. I feel like they're gonna do something like that again and have the new group of heroes team up. It might not be Kang. I mean, it could be any galactic scale villain, but if they're going the time route and weird magic route, it would make sense because, I mean, how they handled things in, like, the direction of WandaVision, the direction of Loki, it would make sense. Mike Ciccone, I hope I said that right, said 2 things. 1, Phil Coulson would have been 21 and an hour drive away from Oshkosh, Wisconsin in 1985. He was a nerdy boy. Do you think he was there? He could have been. Never underestimate the nerdiness of Phil Coulson. I totally think he would have been a guy who went to Renaissance fairs. No doubt in my mind. 2, you think Lady Loki is blonde in honor of her adopted mother. I think that Lady Loki is blonde for a particular reason, and I'm about to get to that in just a minute. And here we go. Lucas Ismail says Madison, the variant they're looking for, may not be Lady Loki after all. In the foreign language end credits for the show, it credits her as Sylvie, played by British actress Sophia Di Martino, as opposed to the English end credits for this actress simply crediting her as the variant. So Sylvie might pertain to Sylvie Lushton from Broxton, Oklahoma, the second Marvel character to use the name Enchantress, who was given her powers by a future Loki and who was made to think she was from Asgard. I believe she appeared in the Young Avengers Dark Reign storyline 2009. She has powers similar to the original Asgardian Enchantress Amora. I'm kind of holding to this theory, especially since there was a scene where she didn't like to be called Loki in the show. Also, her hair is blonde and not black. And there we go. Lady Loki very iconically has black hair in the comics, and that struck me as very strange when Lady Loki was blonde in the series. I was like, it could just be an MCU change, but it struck me as kind of strange. So, here's what I'm thinking. I agree with Lucas, and I actually saw this discussion on Twitter before I even read his comment, and I was like, oh, people are talking about the Enchantress, and I felt like a dummy for not even thinking about it, because like the green and the gold, the blonde hair, controlling people, like it was distinctively kind of different powers than we've seen Loki use. And then the Sylvie thing. I did not even know about the existence of Sylvie, honestly. I only know about Amora, the Enchantress, so Sylvie is completely new to my Marvel Comics radar. I had never heard of her. But then when I saw people saying that she had been listed as Sylvie in one of the foreign language credits, I was like, oh, this is like a legit theory, like this could be true. And I can't believe Marvel would make a slip up like that, but I guess they did, or maybe they just didn't care, didn't think a lot of people would notice. You would think on the English part, it being credited as the variant, they would just have the variant on all the different language credit sections. So I don't know how that mix-up happened or how they missed it, but whatever, we're gonna roll with it. And I totally am on board with this theory. I think it's the Enchantress. I think that would be the more interesting plot, honestly. Like, I'm saying this and it's probably gonna end up actually being Lady Loki. But I honestly think that the Enchantress storyline would be more interesting than Loki versus Loki. Just my opinion. Loki versus Loki is interesting and compelling, but I would be more intrigued by Loki versus Enchantress. Just my opinion. And more evidence to this theory, I remember in many of the old interviews I watched with Tom Hiddleston, like back during the earlier Loki days, he would always talk about the Enchantress. He would always talk about how fascinating of a character he thought she was and how he would love to have a storyline with the Enchantress and Loki one day. So if we're going by that, and Tom Hiddleston's now executive producer on Loki, and he had any kind of creative direction control whatsoever, you know he would have been in the writer's room like, can we do the Enchantress? Can we have the Enchantress? So, tinfoil hat time, guys. I think it's Enchantress. Could totally be wrong. But you know what? I was wrong about Mephisto and WandaVision, so I'm used to being wrong now. So, with that said, guys, I am excited to jump in and find out. Is this Lady Loki? Or is this possibly the Enchantress? I mean, she did hate being called Loki. Why would Loki hate being called Loki? So, let's find out, guys. Are we wrong? Are we right? Let's jump in and find out. It's time to watch episode 3. That's the girl from the TVA.
Okay, ask. How many people are guarding the timekeepers? Sorry, what?
So why don't you tell me how many people are guarding the timekeepers?
Oh, well, there's...
Yeah, I'm probably just tired.
How do I find the elevators?
They're gold.
Uh-oh. She's tying back the hair. She means business. Oh. That's interesting. Oh, fancy. I did not think we were going back to the TVA so soon. Oh yeah, get the knives. Yes. I love me some hallway fight scenes.
You sure you're a Loki?
You're in my way.
You are my way.
Hey!
Uh-oh.
Come any closer and I'll kill him. Go for it.
Where are we?
It's not working.
Oh.
Not the only tech-savvy Loki.
Don't ever call me that.
Tech-savvy?
No, a Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just fully in.
Is that one of your powers?
Where did you send us?
Lamentis? I have no idea what that is. Is this another apocalypse event? I left the purple.
You idiot! This is Lamentis 1!
I don't know what that means!
Of all of the apocalypses saved on that temp, this is the worst! No one makes it off here! Watch out!
I'm sorry, madam.
That was a good shot.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're trying to enchant me. It won't
Enchant.
work. 30
Well, you're
seconds.
full of it because you need me to get that thing recharged. That's the only reason you saved me out there.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking this is the Enchantress, y'all. This is not Loki.
I'm sorry about not calling some faded photocopy of me Loki.
Good, because that's not who I am anymore. I'm Sylvie now.
Oh, you changed your name. Brilliant.
It's called an alias.
It's not very Loki-like.
Yeah? What exactly makes a Loki a Loki?
Independence, authority, style.
Where is everybody? Are they just hiding? Oh. That lady was ready.
Where is everyone?
The Ark. The evacuation vessel. Train station's the edge of town. But you'll never get a ticket.
This is like an Old West, like futuristic Old West town.
The tickets?
Orders come from the top to get her on this train.
Sir, this...
Everything okay?
Everything's fine. Yeah.
See, if they work together, they can be quite effective. Of course, the rich people are the ones getting on the train.
You sure she was your mother?
No, she's not actually. I was adopted. Is that a bit of a spoiler for you? Sorry about that.
No, I knew I was adopted.
What? They told you?
Yeah. Did they not tell you?
No. And it all seemed impossible. But she told me that one day I'd be able to do it too, because I could do anything.
Really, it'd be easier if I just
Enchanted me and make you give me the temp back so you can leap out of the moving train. No, thank you.
Well, then don't ask.
Okay.
Champagne?
Yes, thank you very much.
They have great chemistry.
A pity the old woman chose to die, don't you think?
She was in love.
And she hated it.
Maybe love is hate.
Love is hate.
Oh, piss off.
He needs to slow down on the drinks or he's gonna not be in good condition when they need to fight their way out of there. So my shipping radar is totally going off right now. I do not think this is, of course, if this is actually another Loki, then no, of course I don't ship it, but I think it's Enchantress, and this is gonna be a thing. Oh gosh. This is an Asgardian song. Ouch. Oh gosh.
You got drunk on the train.
I'm hedonistic. That's what I do.
I'm hedonistic. A lot more than you, I assure you. But never at the expense of the mission.
Oh, the mission? Give me a break. You can't beat them.
Whoa. He's just like, alright. I found someone as dramatic as I am.
So what, we hijack the Ark and make sure it gets off this moon?
I mean, sounds like a good idea to me.
And that's gonna create another branch, right? Because you're doing what didn't happen.
Really?
People would survive instead of everyone being destroyed.
I had to pull a memory from hundreds of years prior, before she even fought for them.
What? What did you say? Before she joined the TVA?
Yeah, she was just a regular person on Earth.
A regular person?
They're all variants, just like us.
They don't know that.
I saw someone say that in a reaction video. You know what? I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. It was Blind Wave. I heard somebody on Blind Wave say that. I can't remember which one. Last week, guessed that they were variants.
We do?
They were right. Oh boy. It's about to go down. Ooh. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, that was pretty awesome. Well, now what? Is the TVA gonna... What? No! No. Are you serious? Are you for real? It just ended right there. Oh my goodness. So, okay, is the TVA gonna have to come rescue them? Because how else are they going to get off this planet now? I feel like they're gonna just be sitting there like talking about life and the end of the world and how they're about to die, and then Mobius is just gonna walk out of a portal and be like, "Hi, Loki." And then the TVA is gonna save them. I'm telling you, there's something villainous about the TVA. I mean, the fact that all these people are variants who have been basically enslaved by the TVA and are now working for the TVA and don't even know that they used to have a regular life, that's villainous to me. I had a bad feeling about them from the start, and yeah. Kudos to whoever it was on Blind Wave. I can't remember which one of them it was who called that all those people were variants, because yeah. And okay, so major shipping radar going off here. Woo! And again, disclaimer, if this is actually Lady Loki, a version of Loki, of course I don't ship it. That would be weird. But I'm like 99% convinced now that this, I mean, her name is straight up Sylvie. I think this is the Enchantress, and she gets very offended whenever Loki calls her Loki. So I think that, yeah, we're finally getting the Loki and Enchantress story that Tom Hiddleston has always wanted to be a part of. And that's my theory, my jam I'm going with going forward until I'm proven otherwise. What an amazing, amazing episode. The chemistry between the two actors is great. The banter's great. The action was great. The fights were so fun. Man, that ending sequence was just great. I love just scenes that are kind of like obstacle courses where it's like the characters are just trying to run and survive, and there's things falling and crashing all around them and they have to fight, and it was just great. I mean, and this is only episode 3. We're now at like the midway point, so we've got 3 episodes left and things are getting really cray-cray. I can't wait to learn more about Sylvie. She's a really intriguing character, and I almost don't even want to go look her up like on the Marvel Wikipedia to find out like her character's backstory and everything. I kind of just want to see what they do with her and learn about her as I go. And it was really emotional seeing like Loki talk about his mom and her showing him magic as a child and what love is to each of them. I think they were discussing that for a reason. It's going to play a part in the story moving forward. And it would be really heartwarming. I'm a sucker for redemption stories. I would love to see 2 characters who were so cynical about love and trusting people and forming real connections with people because they're so afraid of getting hurt. I would love to see 2 people like that open up and trust each other and form a real bond and a real connection. So I hope that's where this story is going, and I hope they can overthrow the TVA together or whatever form that takes. Actually, I can't remember if I said it in episode 1 or episode 2, but I remember I had a theory, and I was like, what if Loki's goal, his thing that he ends up achieving is freeing the people in the TVA from the tyranny of the timekeepers? I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look. It was either in my first video or my second video, but I was like, Loki sees himself as a freedom fighter and a liberator. So what if he gets to become that by freeing the people in the TVA? I think, especially after this episode, that theory has a very high chance of coming true. And I mean, branches and things are already going off everywhere, but I think the end of this series is going to be like really spiraling into a crazy multiverse, and that's going to spawn like what happens in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and all of that stuff. It's going to, I think, kind of start here from Loki. Yeah, just really, really great episode. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Thank you guys for watching along with me, and be sure to come back next week to see my reaction and discussion of episode 4 of Loki. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. See you then.